Hello and welcome. Today I want to talk about some Penlight combos that I use. A Penlight combo is a pen and a light together, and I've been using a few of these for a couple of years. Some of them I've got more recently this year, and I figured maybe we'll do a short comparison video on why I carry them and what kind of gear that I use them in. Starting with the pen on the left, this is a Penlight laser combo. It's the only one that's got three different functions in terms of its primary uses. Either you have a light function on here, and then if you turn the switch activator, again you get a laser function. It has a P Schmidt 950 ink refill inside. You can access it by turning it. It's made out of aluminum. This one I used to like, but now I don't like as much because the issue is with this turn switch style design is that it does come off or goes on too easily. These run on AAA batteries, and the emitter I think is an XPE2, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember the exact emitter type in here. It could be an XPG2 emitter, but I did not see the actual emitter, if I remember correctly, when I got the packaging on it. But I do know that this one is about 130 lumens or close to it. I've stopped using this one in my primary bags. This stays in my ham radio bag because it just, up to pocket use, this would come off sometimes, and same thing with the light. So it's not a very well designed pen light combo, but there's newer technology out there. So moving along, I did get a smaller brother of this light. This is also M&P Smith&Wesson pen light. This is a P105 as opposed to the laser light combo, and this runs on AAA battery, and it functions much just like the M&P laser light combo, in that it uses a AAA battery and a turn twist activation. One of the minor differences though is that this uses a spring inside of it, so it does have some sort of tension on it, but not a whole lot to stop this from turning on and activating. So again, as a pocket carry type light, this is not so good. I use this in my secondary work bag, EDC bag, which stays. Sometimes I've also noticed, much like the first Penlight laser combo, this tends to come undone in the front. This turnstile activating of the pen tip here, or at least the revealing of it, it's not the best. So I think it's an inferior design as well compared to these other lights on the table. Again, I think this also uses a Schmidt P950 ink refill. At least the ink cartridges on these are pretty decent. They don't tend to leak or drop as much. But I've been using these for about 1 to 2 years, so they have worked okay in my bags. I wouldn't recommend them for carrying in pocket. Moving over, I've got some more recent purchases of this year. I have the Open 2, which came out in October, or not October, rather August of this year. And I looked at this one because it has an internal recharging battery inside, and it has an L-bolt actuator style for the pen here. So that was much better, that design, than these two here. And the fact that I could recharge the light inside of here, and that it had more than one mode on it, was really attractive. The long run times on the moonlight mode, or at least the lowest setting, was definitely something for me to use in the field. And the fact that it could be used as a side light, you can clip it onto your Pals Webbing Molly gear, and with a click of a button it can come on pretty easily. So it makes it very convenient to use. It is waterproof also, and here's the USB charging port on this, and the other part of the light. I'm not going to go into too much depth of these lights, just the reason why I've used them and why I enjoy them. The one downfall with the Open 2 line of pens here, although they did try to rectify it a little bit and somewhat still, is the ink cartridges are a mini 8126 Schmidt mini ink cartridge, and they tend to leak or run, so it's not the best cartridge. There's a guy called AZ Printsmith on Etsy. He does make a modular insert that takes Fisher space refills for this pen here. So that kind of alleviates the ink problem. The other thing that I noticed about this, it doesn't use a AAA battery. It's an internal battery. The downside to that is you can't replace it. So once this battery dies, the light portion is gone for all intents and purposes. Other than that, it's a great light. The UI in the copper version here was upgraded to have a lockout mode. As you can see, I'm pushing the button and the light doesn't come on. Now if I push and hold, it'll turn on the light then, and you can leave it in that mode. But you can turn it off too if you want to save batteries. So that was an improvement. The ink cartridge was a slight upgrade from the original one. The look and finish of this, it's much better than the aluminum ones here. It's a lot heavier too. So there's your trade-off there. But still, it's a good pen, the Open 2 copper version. You can't find this version anymore. You can still find these three. The last one on the list is the Refyne P1. This is a grade 5 titanium pen, and I got this a couple months ago, and it was the same price as the Open 2 actually. I actually got a coupon from the owner when I messaged him on Facebook, and so that was nice. So I applied it and I used it with this, and they sold a bunch of refills on there for only $1, so I picked up a bunch of those. The only thing I can say is that the default battery that came with this was not a very good 10180 battery. This has user replaceable batteries. The lighting element is a turn switch based also. Not my favorite and not my preferred way of turning on a light for a pen light, but I digress. It has two modes, as a high mode and a low mode, and it's somewhat finicky sometimes, so it's not the best user experience for the lighting part of the pen. Much like the Open 2 models, this can come apart. It features a magnetic portion which kind of sticks to the pen if in case it gets loose, so that's good to have that. But I think they could probably cut that magnet out and just refine the attachment point much better. The refills are smaller than the other refills of these other pens here because it's a smaller light, but the refill, the pen itself, the cartridge, writes pretty well and works pretty well, and I haven't noticed any leaks or anything like that in my carrying duties. So I pretty much prefer to carry this. It's a little bit heavier than the lightest pen here, which is the Open 2 original. This is about 48 grams. I think this is about like 57 grams or so. I don't remember exactly the weight on this particular model, but I do like its size and form factor personally. It's a little bit thicker too than these lights on the table, I think, but that's okay given its short size. I actually enjoy the L-bolt actuator, much like the Open 2s here. This one has a button that sticks up a little bit more, so sometimes it can get caught on like mesh clothing and things like that. So that is a, or mesh pocket if you will. So that's a thing to keep in mind with this. The refill exchange is pretty easy to take out. Overall, I think this is my favorite EDC pocket light to carry. I'm going to be testing out the Open 2 copper though in place of this for a few weeks to see which one I like better, because when I did the comparison video of these two lights here, this came out on top even though it has a weaker UI on the light, but overall I think it's a more pleasant pen to use. So I mainly carry these in my ham radio and secondary EDC bags. I carry these lights in my primary EDC bags around my persons, and we're going to see how well the copper performs and see if that weight does really make a difference on it. But these are the lights that I use, and I figure I'd just go over some of them and why I use them with you. Thanks for watching.